Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker shills, debt slave serfs, peasants, vassals, meat sacks, pink slime, zionists. I'm a useful idiot. Today I would like to talk about Benjamin Netanyahu and this recent flap between Israel and the United States and Benjamin Netanyahu and Barack Obama. Of course, this whole episode started because Barack Obama refused to have a meeting with Netanyahu during this election cycle, and on Benjamin Netanyahu's schedule for his war against Iran. And in this instance, I don't really blame Barack Obama. He knows what to expect. Benjamin Netanyahu would get him in a room behind closed doors and make sure that Barack Obama knows who the boss is. And the boss is Benjamin Netanyahu. And Mr. Netanyahu would bully and threaten Barack Obama and the United States so that we will participate in the seething bloodlust crusade against Iran. And his statements are completely outrageous. Mr. Netanyahu said that the international community and Barack Obama and the United States have no, quote, moral right, unquote, to restrain the Jewish state. How fucking outrageous. How fucking outrageous, Mr. Netanyahu, for you to talk about moral rights, considering the immorality of Israeli state policies in that region. You should be ashamed. But you have no shame. In fact, you have no shame. And then you talk about the efforts of the international community and the United States and Barack Obama to restrain the Jewish state. You tell me a time and a place and a person and a state who has ever been able to restrain the Jewish state. And in fact, their policies are marked by their complete lack of restraint. And another layer of this, of course, is the fact that Mr. Netanyahu has been complaining since Barack Obama has been president that he has not been supportive enough. And of course, he's not been supportive enough because he hasn't wanted to participate in the war against Iran without seeing if further diplomacy and sanctions can work. That's what it's all based on. The fact is, Barack Obama, in spite of what the GOP base has said, in spite of what the GOP leaders have said, in spite of what the corporate media has said, Barack Obama, like all other presidents, has been a good friend to Israel, other than bombing Iran for them. Because the fact is that the Israeli state has received tens of billions of dollars from the Barack Obama administration. They have received state-of-the-art military gear and more to add to their gigantic war machine. So I don't think he has anything to complain about. So the question becomes, how much blood and treasure of the United States is enough to satisfy you, Benjamin Netanyahu, you and your seething bloodlust, your warmongering, your road to Armageddon. You want the United States to go down with you hand in hand. And this is pretty shocking and quite the hypocrisy, because here's a state, Israel, that does not participate in the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. It does not go by the same rules and regulations as the rest of the international community. No one's even ever inspected their nuclear program. And they've never even had to publicly acknowledge that they have nuclear weapons. And the fact is, the United States has helped to arm them. They have 200 to 300 nuclear warheads ready to go that are deliverable, and more importantly, the will to use them. The fact of the matter is that Netanyahu likes to characterize Ahmadinejad as the most dangerous man in the world, this leader of Iran. But I beg to differ. The most dangerous man in the world is Benjamin Netanyahu. And when is it going to be enough? So the Zionists have controlled U.S. foreign policy for the better part of 100 years. The American taxpayer shelled out hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that have gone to the state of Israel for the state of Israel that has nothing to do to benefit the United States. We have sent hundreds of thousands of troops to the Middle East, not for American national security, but for Israeli national security. We have spent our country into bankruptcy, not for American security, but for Israeli national security. We have supplied weapons to all the globe, not for American security, but for national security of Israel. When is it going to be enough? When is it going to be enough? So now, Now we have Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu and the state of Israel shamelessly and brazenly interfering and trying to manipulate the American election cycle. So he wants Mitt Romney to win. He's throwing Obama under the bus because he wants Romney as president, because Romney and him are old friends. Apparently when they both got out of law school, Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Romney worked for the same Boston consulting firm. So they have a friendship that goes way back. And their friendship is strong enough that Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Romney will walk hand in hand on this road to Armageddon, because Romney has made it clear that he will bomb the shit out of Iran on day one if he gets elected. He has put no restraints on the state of Israel and their planned attack on Iran. This is outrageous. How fucking dare you, Benjamin Netanyahu? And how dare you, Mitt Romney? What an unholy alliance. And it brings up another question. What is this connection between fundamentalist Christians and their support of the Israeli state? And I can guarantee you that Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu and many in Israel have nothing but loathing for Christians and the Christian religion. And in fact, there's a lot of state policy that supports the persecution of Christians in Israel. And I've asked Christians about this, and the usual answer I get is because they are the chosen people. The scriptures say that the Jews are the chosen people. But let me remind you that the Bible was not written by God. It was written by rich Jewish scholars. So, of course, that book would say they are the chosen people. And this brings to mind another interesting tidbit, too, and that's the fact that a lot of apocalyptic Christians like to suggest that these are the end of times and that Barack Obama, is the Antichrist. But once again, I beg to differ, because the evidence shows me that Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu is the Antichrist, both figuratively and literally. He is Antichrist, and he will lead this world down a cataclysmic road to catastrophe. That is his goal. He can see nothing else. He has nothing but blind retribution in his heart, and it doesn't matter what the facts are. So anyway, I want to say to you, Mr. Netanyahu, fuck you. I cannot believe how outrageous you are, how audacious you are. What an evil, evil man. And the fact that you control the world from your tiny little stolen country is really a little bit too much to handle. And now, having said all that, I want to make sure to invite the retribution of AIPAC, Mossad, and the Anti-Defamation League. I'm not that hard to find, but, you know, you guys are pretty good at that, so come and get me. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.